Andy, please start the show.
It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
A fine Saturday morning to you.
No, you were all English a minute ago.
But I have to
after
go
the
Irish
Michael
again.
Winterbottom.
I know.
Yeah, come on, Brexit
At cinema.
At cinemas.
at cinema at cinemas.
Good morning, boys. How are you all?
He's the Queen of England.
No.
I don't know what just happened there.
And he's the
I
Queen of
don't
England
accept
tonight. I don't know. Now I don't even remember what we were wanting to record that he was going on
We were
about.
supposed to turn that on.
It was about
Andy,
a movie that I can't
say
remember,
what
and I
you were
still
gonna
can't
say.
remember what it's called. So,
Because you
Good
said, "Did you
talk,
guys
man."
see?"
Yeah, and then-
we're like, "Let's record this."
well, you
No.
guys said that, and you put me in a panic moment because I'm like, "Oh crap!" Now they wanted to say it. I really have to remember the name of the movie, and of course now I can't. Pressure forget. It was a pressure forget.
Pressure.
The old sweat forget.
Oh, someone's birthday party. What's his name? The guy, Ned Ryerson.
Dame Judi Dench.
Ding!
That right, Stephen
Stephen Tobolowsky's
Tobolowsky.
birthday party. It's a movie. Have either of you seen Stephen Tobolowsky's birthday party?
No,
No.
It's a great little movie
I've
that
heard good
basically
things.
explores Stephen Tobolowsky and the stories he tells. And I think that's what spurred on the podcast that, where he's sharing all of the stories. But basically he would have these parties at his place and just random people would show up and they would listen to him as he would just kind of tell these great stories and serve yummy food. And it was just like this kind of regular thing that he did. And it's really interesting because as you watch it, you see like the group of people, which I'm guessing are a lot of like, hopeful actors or people on the cusp and stuff. And Amy Adams is sitting in there and she's one of the young people watching and listening to the stories. So,
well, it's from 2005, so Amy Adams was what, like 12 years old back then? I don't know.
I don't remember when Junebug hit. It had to be just a few years after that.
Yeah.
So, because that's really where she kind of broke. But it's worth seeking out if you can find it because it's a fun little kind of indie little project.
And according to Wikipedia, he tells stories about being in such films as Bird on a Wire and Mississippi Burning. And those are not the movies I think of when I think of him.
All the greats.
Bird on a Wire?
All the greats.
Really? Bird on a Wire. That's Mel Gibson, right? And Goldie Hawn?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Another opportunity for
John,
Mel to show his butt. That was
of course.
That was in that era where
Yes,
that was like all people would talk about is, Mel's showing his butt again.
Hey, he had that insured. I'm sure of it.
I'm sure of it. Yes, indeed.
Well, what else has been happening in your movie lives?
What else has been happening? We had some Golden Globe nominations happen that caused an uproar.
Yes.
We had some SAG nominations for the stunt awards and caused quite an uproar that John Wick 3 wasn't put on the list.
Yes.
Do you even? I mean, all right. I know I'm probably the most bearish of all of us on the award stuff. I'm just done. Was this not just another example of why nonsense? Why are we paying attention? I know, Andy,
I'm not listening to you.
Will
I'm
never
not
let
listening to
go. You'll never let go of the awards, but I'm just done.
No.
Steve, tell me, you're at least in the middle.
I'm in the middle of awards.
Do you still love the awards?
Yeah, it's a fun game. I don't get as amped up as I used to because I used to get all excited for the films that I liked that I wanted to get awards versus the whole politicking of what's going to get things. And, I was at an Oscar party. I was like, yeah, I think this should really win. And it's like, well, no, because so-and-so's been nominated 5 times and it's his turn. He'll get it. I'm like, well, but no. No,
that's not how it goes.
That's not how it should work.
Al Pacino has done so many better performances than Hooah! But that's what he gets an Oscar for. So yes, I still like I still enjoy it. I'm curious to see. I guess it's more of a puzzle to solve. I look at that of like, why is Once Upon a Time in America a musical or comedy?
Well, Hollywood.
I don't. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That'd be a totally different.
Yes. Yes, that's Once Upon a Time
That
in
phone
Ireland
ringing,
with
that
Andy.
made it a musical.
Yes.
Very lilting.
Yes. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Why is that a musical or comedy? I don't know. Well, it was, and I think there was discussion on Discord about, well, The Martian was nominated for the same category, musical or comedy, and it's got comic elements, but is it a comedy? I don't care.
All right. Well, so clearly you care more than I do. So what was the controversy this week? Why was everybody so upset?
Well, people are always upset when things that they want to get nominated don't.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
Right.
that's the long and the short of it. And for the stunt awards, it was largely the fact that John Wick 3 did not get nominated, which it does seem strange. Well, it's a twofold complaint about that one. The fact that the stunts aren't getting nominated, period, by the big awards, I think, is the larger picture complaint. But the sub-complaint under that, if you drop down a level, you'll see the sub-complaint. That is
like, how do you
Drop down
overlook
a
John
level.
Wick?
Yeah,
Yes, how do you?
how did they
Yeah.
leave that one out? So
Well, it's similar. They go through these awards, go through these transitions of trying to catch up with things. And I remember, oh gosh, in high school, so it must have been like 87 or 88 when the Grammys added like the heavy metal category and Jethro Tull won over Jane's Addiction. It was like, how is Jethro Tull in the heavy metal category? What is going on? But it's just an old industry trying to become or maintain its relevance and updating categories and all. I mean, of course, the Oscars aren't doing that. So we've got the SAG Awards, but they've been doing, Andy, as you pointed out, stunt awards for several years.
yeah,
I guess.
they've been doing it for
Yeah.
I
So
can't remember how many, but a little while.
it's been enough. I don't know. So that's just the one thing, because I think it was because of Twitter, because I think they tweeted out about like, hey, look at the stunt stuff. And everybody looked at it and said, what is this?
Yeah,
So-
if you're gonna do stunts,
Yeah, do
do
stunts.
the movie with stunts in it that are recognizable.
Like John
as
Wick
stunts.
and not The Irishman.
There were some exceptional old man falling down scenes. in
Pete,
The
when he
Irishman.
throws a guy through a plate glass window and stomps on his hand, that's a stunt.
Also, though, I didn't see the horse v motorcycle sequence in The Irishman. Did you see that? Maybe you can point me to a time code.
No,
'Cause-
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's
So
real trouble.
Yeah,
it's a frustration,
one of
and
those things.
I think I did point out that there is a stunt award, an award program that's out there.
What is that?
Taurus?
The Taurus Awards or
And they did have, unfortunately, they are like way after the Oscars. So, in context of what people
Yeah.
consider award season, it's like they're not even in it, because award season starts. When does it? If they say it starts now, like beginning of the middle of November or something, and it goes until the Oscars. That's when people officially say
that's the end.
The
of
award
it, yeah.
season ends with the Oscars. And the Taurus Awards, they're doing their drawings up through March and into April, and then they don't have the ceremony until May. So that's like they don't seem to care. But at least they have more interesting categories, and I think that helps them and makes it a little more interesting. And I mean, honestly, it does speak to the fact that it is specifically stunt awards. Like last year's, they had best fight, best high work, best stunt rigging, best work with a vehicle, best specialty stunt, best overall stunt by a stunt woman, hardest hit, best action in a foreign film, and best stunt coordinator and/or second unit director.
All right, so that's something.
Yeah, it is.
That's great.
What is with you tonight? What is
I'm
this?
surly.
You are. You are. Just like, well, it's something. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You're something. All
Something
right.
else.
Yep. Something else. All right.
35th anniversary tour of Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
This is what happens when I don't bring anything.
Yeah. Hey,
We're talking about Pee Wee.
Pete.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to.
No, Pete,
trying to
I'm
lean
telling
in
you
on
right
the
now.
surly.
Okay, Surly. Pete, you and your wife, Valentine's Day event, Portland, Oregon, at Newmark Theater. Paul Rubens is
All
going to
right.
be there with Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Seriously, Paul Rubens is going to be there.
I can't tell if he's excited or just trying to feign excitement.
Yes. No, because if you pay,
going to be there. Oh,
yeah,
Mr. Paul Rubens.
There's a photo op package. One premium reserve ticket to the show, one individual photo opportunity with Paul, a VIP access laminate,
What?
and a super secret VIP gift item. Tickets went on sale.
What do you think it is
tomorrow?
What do you
Tomorrow.
think is the VIP
I
gift,
don't know.
the secret gift?
I don't know. Something.
Knowing Paul Rubens, I'm not sure.
You don't want to touch it. Don't open it. You don't want to touch it. No, don't do it. Tickets go on sale tomorrow, Friday, December. Oh, well, it'll be yesterday by the time this posts. December 13th. Tickets will be on sale, but Portland, Andy, we don't get anything.
He won't be coming to Arizona, sadly.
No, we either got to go to LA or
nothing,
Texas or Denver. Yeah.
Or Portland.
But it's, or we can visit Pete up in Portland for Valentine's Day. Surprise!
What do the tickets run for this thing?
Right. I'll be here.
I don't know because they're not on sale yet, so I don't have pricing available.
Here we go. Pee-wee. I know you are backstage pass or backstage package. Why don't you take a picture, photo op package? I meant to do that merch bundle.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell you how much.
Well, let's see.
No. Let me just say a full price ticket is ranging between $50 and $65.
Yeah, there you go.
So add on double, triple that, I'm sure, for photo ops and all of that.
So
Your
that's
wife would love that if you gave it to her for Valentine's, Pete.
I see, now I know you're being sarcastic.
She's like, honey, I got you a little peewee for Valentine's Day.
It's time to take out the little fireman.
There's a little peewee.
I am sure that I will have missed the boat if that's the gift I end up with for Valentine's. It's not good.
Well, do either of you? Do you enjoy this movie? Either of you?
I do. I didn't see it in theaters, but I saw it a few years later, and it's definitely one that sticks with me. My kids still love it. I mean, it's kind of a comedy classic, and I don't know. I think it's really funny, and Large Marge is still my favorite part.
Oh yeah. See, the thing that really impressed me with this, and because I'd seen it a couple times on cable TV, and then I was watching it, and I was noticing things, and I thought, this is either intentional or it's like really poor production. Nobody's paying attention. And I thought, no, knowing Paul Rubens and Tim Burton, this has got to be intentional, of the scene where he's pulling the bike chain out of the bike. And you can, in the bottom of the frame, you can see the chain coming up through the bottom because it's like endless chain.
The story with that is that this was shot on 35 millimeter frames to be cropped. They shot full frame.
They didn't crop it.
But when they released it on home video, they just, which is something that would happen often.
Yeah.
They would take that off and they would just release the full frame. So that's why in certain films, sometimes you'd see the boom.
Is that what it is?
You'd see, in this particular case, you see the chain coming through. Yeah. So it was
I thought that was intentional.
Yeah, that was one of those things that unfortunately, because of the way that they chose to release it, it's like this is what people were complaining about back then. Now they're complaining about the losing the jokes in the Simpsons episodes.
Okay. Because the other one I noticed was when he's driving the car and he's driving and the street signs come by, you can see that they're like it's a sign like on a dolly track that's rolling. It's not actually, And I thought it just fits with the feel of the movie, but okay.
Now little movie
Thanks
magic.
for ruining that, Andy. Thanks a lot.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to know. It's important for you to know that they were filmmakers who knew what they were doing.
We're doing, and then it's all the formatting. Yeah. Yes. Okay. No, this
was like the great Buffy the Vampire Slayer release when the cropping changed for home release or for widescreen release, and you could, in the dark room of her bedroom, you could see the sound guy with the mic laying down next to her bed.
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, and I think Pee-wee, you have
what
that
is
too.
that grown man with a microphone doing in that teenage girl's room? Oh well,
it's not creepy at all.
Yeah, just release it the right way. That's the lesson here.
Yes.
Release it the right way.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a lesson they still haven't learned, as we learned from Disney Plus and Simpsons, but at least they fixed that one.
Or what was it, Mandalorian? There was a boom mic in a Mandalorian shot, I heard. people were
coming
Well,
out
if
of Yoda
it
babies now?
happens in that show, then that was just a straight up mistake because they aren't doing anything as far as like, reframing shots the way that they're not intended. So
No, that's just a rushed production.
Or a Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones. So.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. That's going to be really interesting because, acquisition now has moved. I don't know, Andy, what are you guys, how are you guys acquiring? Are you shooting like 5K on your projects or 8K
We're not
yet?
shooting anything 8K yet. No, we're shooting 4K still.
Okay.
Yeah, for most things, not everything. A lot of, the stuff we did for Investigation Discovery, they didn't want it in 4K because they never put it out in 4K. So they specifically said, don't shoot in 4K. It's weird.
I find that really interesting, and I know that a lot of the like particularly high fashion houses are pushing for 8K for a number of reasons. First of all, because all the retail has massive screens and they're all vertical and they crop at all kinds of different rates, and that just the way they shoot events, they love being able to shoot 8K and crank up 200% and still have pixel per pixel work, which is amazing. I do that and end up releasing a lot of 360 by 240. So I'm stuck a little bit in 1996, but
it's hard. I mean, we've had had a project that before it was not planned this way, but in the end we had to create both horizontal 16 by 9 and vertical 16 by 9 for watching on some phone apps. And we didn't shoot it that way. And everything had to be cropped. And it messed with some of the shots we could actually turn and it worked, but a lot of them we had to just kind of crop down and it messes with your image. But yeah.
It really does. It's just a fascinating consideration. And, I've been deep in it because I'm so excited about the Mac Pros that are running, I think what they say, 6 native 8K streams simultaneously with this Afterburner card. And it's a stunning piece of equipment. And hearing the video pros who work on this thing are saying, when we can render a 43-minute finished 4K show in 8 minutes.
Wow.
That's a stunning, savings. And it's not a savings of we're all going to go home at 3:30 in the afternoon because we've saved so much time. It's look at how much more time we get to be creative and we get to push those limits because we know we don't have to spend hours at the end of the day rendering final rushes. So I think it's really fascinating, and that the hardware is finally catching up to be able to make those kinds of considerations on set. We're going into production like, yes, we're going to shoot 8K because we know it's someday formats are going to change and we're going to have to do that. But then I priced out the Mac Pro for me, just what I wanted. It's over $54,000. I'm not
just tell the kids they don't need to go to college. They don't need that.
Or cars.
$4,000. No,
Jeez.
Or ridiculous. Yeah. For the price of 2 Corollas.
What?
Yeah. It's amazing.
That's nuts.
What you can get. Yeah. It's stunning. So
that means everybody's going to be shooting 48 frames per second coming up soon, right? We're
48, Steve.
Let's do 96.
96 frames per 6 frames per second. Looking forward to that.
Get ready. It's pimple vision.
Your eyes bleed.
Do we have any other news, or shall we jump into some re-ranking?
I guess. No, I think that was it as far as news. There's not I think the awards thing, it's just everybody's ramping up with their year-end lists and all of that. So,
which we might do. We've kind of thrown around the idea, right? I think per Martin Tilquist's idea. Something. We may
come up with something is it end of the year or is it end of the decade?
We gotta hurry.
We could do both.
We only got like 2 weeks left, so we better get on this. Both.
Oh, man. That's a lot of work.
You only have to pick one movie. That's the best part.
Just one movie.
All right. Well,
take us through some re-ranking.
Let's do some re-ranking. All right. Let's see what we're going to start with. This is over at flickchart.com. where we rank all the movies that we've talked about on the show from favorite to least favorite. And first up, out of our 431 movies on the chart, we are
something I've seen.
I would like to. I'm gonna. Okay, I should. This is my new game. What
Can
has
we
Steve
put a filter
seen?
on it?
I'm going to say you've seen both of these.
Well,
Finchers.
So that's
we're starting
something.
with Finchers,
Okay.
the girl with the dragon tattoo,
Yes.
and it is up
okay.
against Albert Brooks, Defending Your Life.
Oh.
Have you seen that one? Okay.
Yes.
All right. There you go. I
Meryl
will.
Streep? Oh, yeah.
Girl with the dragon tattoo
It
for
is
me.
definitely not Defending Your Life. And I also like Defending Your
fine.
Life.
It's a
Really?
fine one. It's got its moments.
It's fine.
Meryl Streep.
I know.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
there were no choices made in that movie.
Well, that held steady at 285. Dragon tattoo.
Okay.
Next up, we have another Fincher film with Zodiac from 2007
All right.
up against David Cronenberg's Shivers.
Zodiac.
Definitely Zodiac. And I'm guessing you have not seen Shivers, Steve.
Is it Cronenberg?
There you go.
That'll
Still
tell you.
There's
Cronenberg.
the answer.
Yeah, no.
All right,
Nope.
Zodiac.
Early Cronenberg?
Zodiac
No.
takes it at 97, or holding steady at spot 97 on our chart. Third up, we have The Sound of Music or Say Anything. I'm going to say you've seen both of these, Steve.
Oh, yes. Oh. How well have both of those aged? Yeah, that's interesting.
I think Sound of Music ages really well, so I'm saying Sound of Music.
I'm probably Sound of Music too.
Yeah.
It's the
I'm going to have to agree. It's Say Anything. It's got its moments, but there's pieces of it that just don't. I'm not a huge Cameron Crowe fan.
you.
We've heard.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is
I know.
interesting. It's the Spanish poster on Flick Chart for The Sound of Music, and it's called Sonrisas y Lágrimas, which means sunrises and tears.
Oh.
That's an interesting, interesting way to title that. All right.
Yeah.
That's going to be the name of our band.
Next up, we have from our current series, Steve Martin, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, up against, this is a tough one, Mad Max, the original.
It is, Andy. I think it's not tough. I think you are making it tough.
Oh,
It is Mad
It
Max.
is Mad Max.
It is Mad Max. Yes, it is Mad Max.
See how easy it
wasn't
was?
tough. No, I was saying it was up against a tough one. That's what I had
Oh,
said in my
yes.
head.
Oh,
I might not
okay.
have actually said
The
that.
No.
movie itself was
It was
tough.
tough in my head because
Did
I'm
we
like,
t-
it's up against Mad Max. That makes it very difficult.
Also, Mad Max is just genuinely tough.
He is.
Have we talked about George Miller announcing that he's starting into the next one? Did we talk about that last
Probably
We
week?
not.
didn't talk about that. No.
Because he's gearing up, and I guess he's a go for the next Mad Max movie. So
Which,
We're a
to
go
be
for Max.
clear, is
Yeah.
the prequel one with Charlize Theron and the origins of her character, right?
Furiosa, is that? Oh, I
that
don't
was
know.
my
I don't know. I
understanding
just
of
heard
what
it.
he had been
So
talking
it's
about.
not-
So I don't know.
Okay, I don't care.
I don't know if he's
Furiosa.
doing that or what, but that's what I had heard. So I'll be curious.
That's fine. Whatever he does, I'll be there for it.
Yeah.
I'm just sad we won't be able to see it in D-Box, Andy.
Who says we won't be able to?
Do you still have D-Box out there?
Actually, now that you say that, I don't know because they've
No.
remodeled. Well, they remodeled, but I don't know if they've taken out the D-Box seats.
Oh, okay. All right. It's okay.
All right. Well, Mad Max held steady at 211. Next up, we have The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. This series comes up a lot on these re-rankings. Versus No Country for Old Men. Oh, it's absolutely No Country.
I think it's No Country, Andy.
And I think Steve has seen only No Country of this pairing.
That's correct. Andy is like 100. He's batting 100. All right.
All right. No Country held steady at 81 on our chart.
Yes.
Next up, we have two films, and I guarantee Steve has seen neither of these.
Oh, is this one of them a Ricardo Darín
No,
film?
but it is something that if it
okay.
pops up on Criterion, you should watch it. Yee, a 1 and a 2.
Okay.
I loved it, Pete. Pete found it pretty boring.
Pete
I
hated
know.
that
Wait, you know
movie,
what,
as I
Andy? Let me
recall.
just tell you, it's the other one.
Or
Whatever you're going to say next.
Stromboli.
Oh, you're
Stromboli.
right. Is that the Is that the one where they kill the animals?
There are some animals that
It's
get
even
killed. on
ridiculous.
Stromboli, yes.
On the volcanic
Yeah.
island?
Yeah.
Yes, I've listened to that episode.
She ends up the big climax is her climbing a mountain in an active volcano in heels with luggage. So it's stunning.
Oh, you make it sound atrocious, but it's actually a pretty good movie.
I'm
But I'm going to vote on Yi
You're right,
here.
especially
I
compared to
love
Yi.
Yi.
a 1 and a 2.
Yi definitely takes it for me.
Well, see, Yi is sort of on my list, not only because of that, but when you load the Criterion Channel app, it's a whole like collection of movie posters, and I'm thinking that might be an interesting goal, is to make sure I've seen everything on the load screen of all the movies that are on there. And Yi is like right front and center in there. So,
You'll have to seek that one out.
Book a day.
Check it out. So we're gonna have to do a Rochambeau for this one, because I'm definitely
right,
Yi.
because Steve is not helping. Okay.
All right, here we go. Ready?
What are my it's Yi versus anything else.
Stromboli.
Okay.
Stromboli.
Doesn't
It
matter.
does,
Okay.
You say that, but it's
One.
higher than you
it's-
don't have it at the bottom of the chart.
You're right. Mostly I just am.
You
I
do.
like
You're a
trolling
terrible
you
person.
a little bit.
All right, here we go. One,
Mhm.
two,
2, 3.
three.
Rock.
Scissors. Oh, Stromboli wins, holding steady at 221. So Yi is clearly not high enough. Next up, we have Steve has seen one of these. We have Aliens or Menace to Society.
You're right. You are right.
Oh.
Wow, Andy knows me so well. This is a fun game. I like playing this game.
Steve,
What
Steve,
has
you haven't
Steve
seen
seen?
Aliens?
No, I've never seen Menace to Society, and I don't know why.
You need to see it.
I actually
It's a great
don't
Blues
either.
Brothers
And in
movie.
fact, this is a tricky
No,
one.
it's Aliens.
What do you think,
Oh,
Andy?
100%.
It is?
Yeah.
Clearly. All right. Well, it is for me, too.
You're
I
just
wanted to
trolling
make
me
it, like,
again because you're a terrible person. We already know this. And that did help Aliens jump up. It went up from 50 to 44. So I don't know how
Excellent.
Menace to Society got above it, but it did. Next up, we have Never Let Me Go or La Vie en Rose. And I would say, oh boy, I'm torn on this one. I feel like there's a possibility
Wow.
Steve saw Never Let Me Go, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't seen La Vie en Rose. So I'm gonna say he hasn't seen either of these.
No, I've seen Never Let Me Go.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
I read the
I
book,
was very-
saw the movie. Yes.
Okay. All right. I was 50-50 with you on that one.
Yeah,
I wasn't
okay.
quite sure. Never Let Me Go for me.
Never Let Me
Andrew
Go.
Garfield.
Really?
In spite of an amazing central performance in La Vie en Rose. That is a movie that just did not live
No,
up to her.
right. Definitely not. Never Let Me Go held steady at 126. And I've lost count. This, I think, is our last one here.
Sure.
Nine Queens.
Okay.
There's a Ricardo Darín film for you, Steve. And From Hell. And I'm going to say Steve has seen neither of these.
You are correct. This is eerie.
This is like you've invented a new game. We didn't even have. Now I don't
I
have
love
an
this
emoji
game.
for this.
It's like a great party game. It's just like pull up a random IMDb movie and Andy will tell you whether I've seen
Such
it or
a
not.
meta experience right now. I don't even know. Does it matter what movies we're talking about?
Oh, well, it's definitely Nine Queens. Nine Queens, definitely.
I think it is Nine
Takes it for me.
Queens. I like that Ricardo Darín.
So wait, was that
That's great.
Hughes Brothers back to back? Because they did Menace Society and
Yeah.
From,
From
Hell, right? Oh,
From
interesting.
Hell, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, with that, Nine Queens held steady at 39, and that is the end of our re-ranking for today. I think our only jump was Aliens jumping a few
Yeah.
spots up above Menace to Society.
All right. Fair enough.
There it is.
Here we go.
There it is.
Let's do trailers.
Let's do it.
You're first,
It's-
Andy.
it's
Because
you.
you
Yeah,
looked like
because-
we ended Saturday Night Live last week, and within 35 seconds, you had the trailer pick.
Well, that was so funny is like you said, let's do that. And I said, let's do it. And in my head, I was waiting for you to introduce Flickchart because that's how that conversation goes in my head. Oh, that's too funny. So I'm up. My trailer is the 2019 film Greed. It is, from what I can tell, not a remake of the 1924 silent Erich von Stroheim film. This is Michael Winterbottom, who, I have not seen enough of Michael Winterbottom's films. I feel like I
Yes.
need to go watch. I know you're always pushing 24-hour Party People.
Oh my gosh,
Steve,
it's so good.
Yeah.
which I haven't seen. I have seen, let's see, Welcome to Sarajevo and The Trip. and A Mighty Heart. I think that's all I've seen of his. So not enough, clearly, because I've generally kind of enjoyed the movies.
You
that
didn't
I've
see
seen of
a
his.
Cock and Bull Story?
Nope.
Oh, that's fun. It's very very meta. Yes.
I don't know. I feel like I saw the trailer for that one, but I can't remember.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Anyway.
You know what? I'll tell you the one that I really, really enjoyed was Code 46. Tim Robbins and Samantha Morton. Fantastic.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
I really enjoyed that one.
Another one I haven't even heard about.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So clearly, not only have I not seen a lot of his films, I haven't even heard of a lot of his films. Which says I should investigate this fellow a little bit and check out some of his films. He does work quite a bit with Steve Coogan. That is something that is clear when you look through their filmographies. And this film, true to form, is a Steve Coogan vehicle. It looks like it could be really funny. It could be a really smart satire on kind of wealth and greed and kind of the billionaires of society these days, the 1%. This is a story about a high street fashion mogul celebrating his 60th birthday on the Greek island Mykonos. And, you have Steve Coogan, who always is hilarious, wearing ridiculously fake teeth. And his, wife or lover, I'm not sure, Isla Fisher is in it. And she just looks great. And everything in it really plays well to that whole idea of kind of the over the top set of people who have way too much money to spend on things. I mean, as like late in the trailer, the reporter is talking to Isla Fisher, and she's talking about how he's building this big thing like a year in advance as like to kind of get himself back on track for next year's birthday or something like that. It's like, it's insane what the way that people spend money. And that's really what we're looking at here. And Steve Coogan is perfect for it. And I think that's great. I'm a little nervous the fact that it's a rather low score on IMDb right now. It's under the Pete's 6-star rule at a 5.7. But honestly, just so much of this looked like it was going to be right up my alley. So that's great. I'm excited about this one. What do you guys think?
I'm a big fan. I think it looks hysterical. The teeth are amazing. When he walks out on that balcony and says, "Money cannot buy this." Oh wait, yes, it can. I just did.
That's right.
I mean, it's just fantastic and gross. And love Isla Fisher, and she's amazing when she said, "This is for you." I mean, not literally, like with the giant check of
like 21 million.
It's fantastic. And I saw Asa Butterfield is in this one. And what is he doing in this movie?
I'm guessing
like
he's
their
kid.
You think he's their kid?
He's got the same last name.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He's I think it looks funny. The trailer did what it needed to do for me.
Comedy is tough. I mean, you have to take that into consideration when looking at the rating. Is some people just may not get it, and they might not think it's funny that he's hired a bunch of like celebrity lookalikes, and one of them is George Michael.
Happens to be dead. Yeah, that's great.
So you're either going to get. I mean, if you don't like Steve Coogan's comedy, you're not going to get this. And it's yes, but everything. I mean, I watched this and I thought, is this based on some actual person? I don't know, or if it's just an amalgam of stories that are out there. I don't care. I'm just going to have fun watching this. So
it's funny, even in the IMDb that just says satire about the world of the super rich. What are you going to do?
Right.
Yeah.
They're keeping the story pretty tight, I guess. But it has been released. It played at Toronto earlier this year. It did open there, and then for everyone else, it's going to be opening February 21st, 2020 in the UK, here in the US, and somewhere else.
There
Ireland
you go.
So far,
See, another date night, Pete. You do Pee-wee on Valentine's Day, and then a week later. Agreed. There you go.
You can tell your wife, one for you, one for me.
I think they're both for Pete, maybe. I don't know.
She will not understand that. All right, my trailer. I believe I am up next. I am picking appropriately is not the word, predictably enough. Wonder Woman 1984 is the second in the Wonder Woman franchise, and it's Wonder Woman taking the Thor Ragnarok art direction for all of the promotional material. Everything is neon pink and orange and green, and it is unicorn vomit, and I think it's fantastic. I am here for it. The trailer looks great. They're introducing some apparently legendary characters. I guess it's the cheetah is one of them, and what's the other one? The smiling guy. I don't know. I'm not a Wonder Woman guy, so I'm going to call him Smiling Guy, and we're going to stick with that.
Is that Maxwell Lord?
Yes, Maxwell Lord, Smiling Guy, and the Force Ghost of Chris Pine, which is how I'm going to have to think about it until the movie comes out, because how the hell are they bringing him back? What?
Well, yeah, I guess I can't say, because we figured out what's going on here in our latest recording of our episode for all of me, you may recall.
Right. So that's why he's the Force Ghost for now.
Yes, right.
So anyhow, this movie, I think it's one that has the story by Patty Jenkins and Jeff Johns, and directed by Patty Jenkins, and it feels to me like this is a great chance for her to shed a lot of the weight that she inherited, the DC weight from the first movie, and I loved the first movie, but this movie looks even more just sort of flamboyant, and the action looks awesome when she is swinging from lightning bolt to lightning bolt on that amazing rope. That is an effect and an idea that I've never seen on screen before, and I had to watch it a number of times to get it in my head that it was something that somebody thought of, because it's amazing. Love the extravagance of the rope work. Like, that's just, I think that's great, and all I can say is please make that jet the invisible jet. Please let that be the invisible jet. That's what I want. That was my Super Friends dream of this movie. So I'm very excited about it. The cast looks great. Who knows what they're going to, how they're going to weave these things together. Again, trailer did what it needed to do. Kristen Wiig, fantastic. Love everything she's choosing in her career right now. So there you go.
I'm surprised you didn't mention the music.
Why are you surprised about that, Andy?
That it's something that, and honestly, I honestly can't remember from previous conversations if it was something that was really bugging you, the fact that popular songs were being used so often in trailers as kind of the driving tune for the trailer. But this one definitely pulls it smartly from the era, and I thought they did a great job with it.
Well, I think they did too. If that was something I ever complained about, I changed my mind. I actually have a playlist in Apple Music of trailer music that's been co-opted and retconned for movies, and it's a great playlist. I mean, it's fantastic. So I actually like it. Now that I can't get it in my head. What's the song?
Blue Monday by New Order.
Of course.
New Order.
Yeah, Blue Monday. Yeah, great song. It's a great pick.
I'm excited by the trailer because I loved the first movie too. I'm a little confused by Steve's presence. I don't know what's going on with that, and I don't know if these are flashbacks to do. Well, they can't be because they're talking about stuff in present day.
Right.
So it makes it. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and that makes me a little nervous. Like, why is this a route that we're going with? And I don't know if it's going to end up feeling forced. The fact that happens in it. I hope there's some reason where it all is logical that he's here.
Yeah, I at first, when he first showed up in the trailer, I thought, oh, it's his grandson, and it just looks like him, and it's going to be this whole thing. But then it's like, no, it's clearly a guy out of time who doesn't know that a garbage can is not art. And then I thought, oh, those are cheap laughs. I really don't want too much of this, and I really struggle with how they can explain or justify this. I don't know. It's the one thing that I'm most concerned about, because it feels like it's the most, well, we need to have Chris Pine because we need to have a male star, because we can't have a woman carry a movie. We need a guy there. And I just struggle with that. But everything else, I love. I love the fact that we've got, Kristen Wiig in this, that we've got women leading this movie. And I'm very, very excited about that. And Pete, I'm right there with you with Riding the Lightning. That was just amazing.
It was really cool.
I regret seeing that. That's why I don't like trailers. I wanted to be wowed by that and surprised by that. And you took that away from me.
But you just were wowed and surprised. See?
Yes, I know.
It doesn't take anything away. It just
it does,
gives
because
it
it's
to
not
you early.
It's not like
an early
IMAX and
Christmas
Atmos.
present.
Let him
It's
have
not
it, Andy.
IMAX and Atmos. If it was IMAX Atmos, my head would explode. That's what
but
I want.
if you watched it in the theater before the movie, you would have said, "Oh, wow, look at that! I just experienced it in Atmos."
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you tell him, Andy.
There's always a first time.
There's
Celebrate those first times.
On my phone, the first time. Wow, that was impressive.
It was still a first time, and it still impressed you.
Look at this conversation that we've had about how impressed you were. Clearly, it made an impact. The movie comes out in June. In fact, it's June 3rd in Spain and France and Indonesia, all the way through June 4th, through the rest of a lot of Europe and the Philippines and Asia and the UK, June 5th, and then the USA, June 5th, and then Germany, June 11th. They have to wait a week. Where's your trade dispute now, Angela Merkel?
Oh! Wow. We just
lost about Wonder Woman 1984 all along.
So it was about that 1 week. We're really sending a signal. The Hollywood industrial complex. I'm excited about it. Steve, what's your trailer?
Well, it got busy this week, and you were like, "Well, is he going to do this one? Is he going to do that one?" Well, you got all these trailers, and I'm picking the one that I wanted to pick because I think it's the most, I don't want to say, I guess, controversial. I don't know. It's is it a reboot of a franchise? What is it? We're doing something different with Ghostbusters. It's called Ghostbusters Afterlife. There'd been a little tease. There's been rumors about what's going on with this thing, and we finally got a trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and it is Paul Rudd and Finn Wolfhard, and clearly we are in the Ghostbusters cinematic universe because we've got Ghostbusters gear that is recognizable by characters saying, "Oh, look at that nice replica." Replica of what? Oh, it's a ghost trap, from the Ghostbusters. And so we're getting nostalgic about the 80s here in 2020, when a single mom and her kids arrive in a small town and discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy that their grandfather left behind. So I'm excited about the fact that we're creating enough distance from the original story. We've got a lot of the iconic moments. We've got the Ghostbusters vehicle cruising around in a cornfield. We've got ghost traps. There's still not enough of a story there. We see kids playing around with the Ghostbusters gear, but I don't know what the main story is, which is all I wanted from this trailer. It gave me enough to know that it's staying true to the original in terms of how we're treating these things, but it can be a completely different story because we're out in the country. We're not in the city. We've got kids, so we're maybe focusing more on, it's like a Stranger Things type of thing, which again, you guys know that's right in my wheelhouse. So it felt very much like Super 8 from a few years ago of this type of thing. So I'm excited about it. I know there's going to be all kinds of backlash because whenever you get into something that is so near and dear to a generation's heart, no matter what you do with it, there are going to be people that just are going to hate it because it's going to do something different. It's something wrong. It's something unjustifiable in their eyes, and they're going to hate it. But I am all on board for this. I love Paul Rudd. I think he's like the everyman that everybody can connect with. And Jason Reitman, I think, I'm excited to see what he does with this one.
Andy,
how are you two feeling about this one? Yes, and Andrew.
It's Ghostbusters.
So he hates
I don't get that excited about them. But I will say, I give them, a nod, a tip of the hat for putting a trailer together that I thought, this was actually a really smart way to do it. It doesn't feel at all like, you're bringing in all the old guys.
Right.
Because,
Right.
they're in it. And so that's why I'm like, I saw that they were going to do this trailer, and I just kept waiting for Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd,
Right.
Ernie Hudson, Sigourney Weaver, Andy Potts, any of those people to show up, because I figured that they would. So I was like, well, they didn't do it. That's actually, I give them a tip of the hat for kind of putting a trailer together like that sets up the story. And I wouldn't be surprised if everything we see here all is like in the first 15 minutes of the movie, because it feels like it could be,
Yes.
This is kind of the
sure.
setup of the story. And then we find out that, he's related to, I don't know who, one of the guys, and they come to town and have to stop the ghosts from destroying his family and their lovely farm.
My bet is you're totally wrong, and the original cast are actually all ghosts in this movie. And I don't know, maybe they have to be caught, or they become like double agent ghosts or something like that. Definitely going to be a twist.
That's a fun idea, especially because it's called Afterlife.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty clever.
Always thinking, Andy. Always thinking.
Right.
I actually really like the tone, just the visual tone of this thing, that it looked different than, it just had a different vibe, a different feel. And I like that Jason Reitman has some earned credit for me. I obviously am a giant fan of Thank You for Smoking. I'm a giant fan of Up in the Air. Then there was Labor Day. And so I have to come all the way back around to the Front Runner.
It wasn't that bad.
Where I am a really giant fan of the Front Runner. And so like he's coming in with some credit from me. I'm excited to see what he does with this property in particular. I think this is a really interesting one for him to get his hands on and just try something new.
Yeah, the action stuff is something that's sort of new for him. We haven't done a lot of action in his movies, a lot of character drama, which will be great. It's the how is the action going to come across, and how well is that going to be handled, and we will see how that happens here.
Well, wait, I mean, did you see The Front Runner?
I didn't see The Front Runner. Was there a lot of action? Was there kung fu and fighting?
Is, when he's on the boat, it is an incredibly agile sequence.
Well, they included the fighting robot sequence from Real Steel.
Hey, I love that movie. Yes.
Anyway.
All right. Yes. But July 10th. So we're getting all the summer trailers. We're getting set for summer.
That's right.
The thing that I always fear about movies like this is that it fuels issues when there were things like the previous Ghostbusters film, which I initially liked, and then I watched it again. I'm like, it really isn't that good. But then again, I don't think any of the Ghostbusters movies are. So, but anyway, that aside, it's like it's just going to fuel things that's going to further the divide between people. And that's always frustrating. Why do you have to bash, and you can't just accept that there are different things and let people have what they like?
Right.
Because of the internet, Andy. It's settled
because
science.
Of the internet. Well, I am curious. This just one last note. Yeah. I am curious if they do end up tying anything from that movie in, since, as we did find out, Sigourney Weaver was in it. Her daughter is one of those Ghostbusters. It's a direct connection. One of the other ones, her father is Ernie Hudson. So I'd be curious to see if they are just pretending it doesn't exist, or if they are going to try to welcome it into the family.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
Let's do lists.
List time. Okay. So this week we are talking about The Man with Two Brains in our series for Steve Martin. And so we put up on the Show Talk channel a few options that included, if I could find them, I'm in the wrong feed. That doesn't help. We put up the one that people voted for: people falling from high buildings into swimming pools, exposed internal organs, or serial killer subplot. And people falling from high buildings is the one that people definitely wanted us to talk about. So here we are, the one that is the hardest of the three. I get to take it away, I guess. So
stinking brutal.
This was a really hard one, as we knew it would be.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm going with an obvious one for my first one.
All right.
There were some that I'm like, okay, high building, pool, check. Then there's some I'm like, well, somebody falls in a pool. I can make it work. And then there's some I'm like, well, I guess we'll see. We'll see where we land. All right. So for my first one, this definitely is a pool and it is from a high building. However, they don't really fall. This particular person uses a motorbike to jump from one building to another building, landing in the pool on the other side. And then, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is chasing behind, is on a horse on top of the building. And he tries to do the same with his horse. But then, of course, the horse stops and he kind of falls and is hanging by the reins and has to get dragged back up by the horse. It's a great little sequence in True Lies, one of James Cameron's films that I have issues with, but I still think it's a pretty solid action film. That's my first pick, True Lies.
Well, and it is, of course, a steal, a hard steal immediately.
Oh.
And it wasn't the first one I thought of, but I will tell you, it's the second. Was that a steal for you, Steve? Or are you saying you are a font of originality?
No, I found a list and it reminded me of some things and I was like, oh yes, I had forgotten about these. So
okay,
nope, I'm all good.
All right. Well, my first one is ding dong. It's room service in the police safe house, but gosh darn it, if it isn't for that crazy pair of wisecracking cops in Lethal Weapon 2. And
now that's a steal.
There we go.
Yeah,
they ride the cart into the pool.
Yes.
That's a steal.
And that's the most obvious one because I believe we actually mentioned that one in the episode.
Yep. Although the one I mentioned was Lethal Weapon 1, but there is no pool at the bottom. The pool is a car. In fact, there is a pool sequence, but it's only falling from the side of the pool in the hotel pool.
Yeah.
As he shoots the guy, says no killing. So I showed great restraint, in other words, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right, Steve.
All right, well, Pete stole that one, so I will have to go with the next one on my list, which is falling from a really, really, really tall height into a pool, but actually breaking through glass on the way down as a conscious choice. As a conscious choice, because you really don't want to deal with Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn when you are Bruce Willis and Death Becomes Her.
They are the worst.
They are the worst in that one. Yes. So there we go. That was what I saw that in the theater, and I had forgot. It's been a long time since I've seen that, and as soon as that showed up on the list, I was like, oh my God, I need to see that movie again. It's been too long.
It's Ernest.
I know it's not. It's not. I know it's not. But I think it's making a point about something that I think it handles pretty well. Plus, Isabella Rossellini. Come on.
Yeah. No. I'm not. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. There's
that
a
outfit.
definite,
if I remember, that jacket needed another layer. If I recall, she was wearing a jacket that demanded.
It was just a necklace.
Layering.
I think it was just a necklace that she was wearing. I think that's all it is. Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
All right. For my second pick, I am going to go with a film, and unfortunately, I forgot to look and see if I could find it. The clip online just so I could verify everything. But as memory serves, I think it works pretty well. Actually, I'm finding it right now and I'm seeing it. This is a film that I really loved, and I don't know why it didn't get as much love as I thought it should have, but I think it's a really interesting film about a detective who is fighting demons and the occult. It is, of course, Constantine with Keanu Reeves, and we have a great scene. Well, it's an interesting scene early on with Rachel Weisz, who commits suicide, and the way she does it is she climbs to the top of the building that she's in, kind of a church building, and she jumps off of it and crashes through the glass into the pool below. And that's kind of really interesting. It creates an interesting situation for Constantine to now have to investigate. So that's my second pick, Constantine.
This is really rough.
Was that another steal?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I thought that was a lock for not being picked. Because why would you pick Constantine?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's a great movie.
Is it?
Yeah, I love Constantine. I think it's great.
Okay, well, you have your issues.
You haven't seen it. Yeah.
I saw it once and just
I really enjoy Constantine. Although I also really enjoy the show now. It's just great. The new Constantine is a great Constantine. So they're all great. Okay, so I'm seriously bottom of the barreling. I didn't expect to get to this particular pick on my second. But considering, every movie so far has been a steal for me. You've already gotten through my list pretty much.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with a movie that was also not. No, I take that back. I have two more. The one that I will go with now is a movie that it's not a hotel. It is, in fact, though, it's a sequence in which
we just said high buildings.
It's just a high building. It's just a building, and sometimes when you like a girl a lot, you do stupid stuff, and you may, in fact, decide I'm gonna jump off the building and not actually hit the pool. In All the Boys Love Mandy Lane.
Ouch!
Oh,
That
that's
just
like
sounds painful.
that's.
Have you guys seen that movie?
It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom of my flick chart.
Yeah, it's
Really?
not.
Wow.
It's hard to watch. The end, by the time she's whacking the guy with the machete that's in the stick, and he's saying, die with me," and she's like whacking away at him. I'm like so done with like my day. I'm just ready to go to bed. It's not a great experience. But again,
Okay, it may not be at the bottom of my flick chart list, but it's
a tough watch.
down.
But Amber Heard, and she
down there.
holds her own, like I think a really dumbly challenging part. So I'm going to go with All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. It's gross.
All right.
Okay.
Why are you so dubious at this, Steve? This was not an A-list pick for me. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm looking at the things that I've left on my list, and I'm like, how is he not? Has he not seen these movies that I have on my list? I don't know.
Okay, let's go. What do you got?
Well, okay. Well, all right. I guess technically it's not a pool; it's a body of water. So is that the problem? Is that you were strictly limited to pools and buildings? But
well, let me just tell you, it gets worse from there in my pick.
Okay,
yeah.
Born Ultimatum.
Oh, for crying out loud!
He runs, jumps, gets shot, and falls into the water. So
yeah,
Born Ultimatum.
All right.
I'd say yes. It's not a pool, but it's a. Yeah. I'd say it's a significant fall. Right there. So that's my number two.
Doesn't he do that in the first one too?
Well, it's out of a boat in the first one at the beginning, but this is like actually off the building.
He's found on the boat. Isn't he found on the boat?
No, he's found in the water. He's
found on the boat.
But we never see him hit the water.
He's found in the he's found in the water.
He's in the water on the boat, but it's not like we saw him fall into the water.
But in Ultimatum we actually see him jump off and fall. Yeah. So that's my number two.
All right.
All right.
Okay,
We've talked about that series on the show, so I'm glad to know that you are sticking with your.
So, Pete, just so you know, All the Boys Love Mandy Lane, number 483. It's not the bottom of my list. The bottom of my list, number 484, The Brood.
Wow!
Ow!
Wow!
Ow! That's a weird.
Is at
flex,
the bottom of my
list.
So your pick is not the worst movie on my list.
Look at that. There's a win. Yeah. There's a win for the week.
All right, Andrew, what do you have for number three or your top pick? What do you have? I could go with another high building into a pool because I have one last one, but it's definitely not my top pick. In fact, I should have put it last because it's the worst pick. So I'm torn. Do I go with that or do I go with a film that is a little bit cheating? Where people falling into something that is water. People falling into something that is water. Okay.
I don't know. What should I do? I'm torn.
You can cheat. You go with the better movie.
Cheat. I'm going to cheat because I feel like if I said this last one that it's going to be a steal from Pete because I feel like he's at that point. I could be wrong, but I'm going to go with this, and I think it's a bit of a stretch, but I'm making it work because technically it's a cave, but it's a cave that they're in that's kind of a city
reminiscent of water.
No, they're inside this big city, and they fall off of a bridge. And way down below is a body of water. This is Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
So he falls in the first movie. In the second movie, we find out that he actually hit the water.
Yes. So I guess I should do the Two Towers is really the one I should pick.
Yes.
That's where we learn there is water down there. They didn't just fall to their deaths or to a fiery center of the earth.
Rings, the Two Towers. Yeah, I'm putting that in there. Great.
So, but the mines of Minas Tirith. It's it's the dwarf's home, so it's kind of a high building because there's a hole in the bottom.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
I'm going to tell you that's not a steal.
Okay. Well, and now I'm curious if the other actual high building into pool was a steal. So take it away, and I'll tell you.
Okay. Well, mine is actually not a high building or a body of water. So what do you think of that?
Okay. Well, it's not a steal then.
The movie is 2018's Truth or Dare, in which we have an exchange. Have you guys seen Truth or Dare? There's
2018.
There's an exchange in which our principal character it's a possession kind of a horror story, and there's an exchange in a pool hall where the character says this guy's hitting on her, and she turns around and she's channeling this thing, and it says, "I dare you to show me your pool cue," and he jumps up on the pool table and is about to take out his little fireman, and then he comes to his senses and starts to walk off and falls. As he's interrupted by he falls into another pool table and breaks his neck, and it's horrible. And that's the extent of what you get from me this week.
All right.
Oh my God.
Well, Steve,
I cannot believe I made it this far.
With
this movie.
So you're telling me that's not a steal? Truth or Dare?
No, no. And I have to give my brother credit for this one because I had almost forgotten. And when he mentioned it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the top of my list. Because when we saw this movie, we talked about the fact that this character falls off of things all of the time.
Is it Mr. Bean?
No.
Just hit me. There's a Mr. Bean.
Oh my gosh. So this is, it's a twofer. It's a twofer because we're at the top of a very tall building. And Ryan Gosling as Holland March falls off, lands in the pool. Keith David does not land in the pool. It splatters all over in The Nice Guys.
That's another one that we've talked about on the show, but that's okay.
Yes, but come on, it's a twofer, and
I know
it's into the pool, and I think Ryan Gosling falls off of buildings or off of walls at least 2 or 3 times in this movie. He's just like
he falls a lot,
always getting lucky. He does fall a lot, but that's the one where it's just, and it's in the trailer. I think is you just see them both falling in one. I think it's the Red Band trailer. You see the one red splat and the one splash.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm actually surprised, Steve, that you didn't do your favorite Almost Famous, because that's another one
I am a golden god, and I will jump off of a building. Well, there's the whole jumping from less than 20 feet. You got that. You got Social Network, where you're just zip lining and fall into the pool. No, my other backup was, and it's not really a building, it's not really a pool, and that's Elizabeth Swann in Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl, falling a great distance off the cliff into the water. That's my only other one.
I did not care for this list at all.
You would have preferred exposed organs?
So you had no backups then.
No, you had all. We went deep
the
into
obvious
my
one.
backups.
I have to throw out this obvious one that honestly I'm surprised that you didn't have on your list, since people were talking about it in the chat rooms as an option for this. It is Diamonds Are Forever, James Bond.
Yes.
It is like the most obvious one. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's really where this kind of all this high fall into pool stunt work started. Although, well, no, I think it does look like it's the actual lady. This is where the bad guys throw a lady out of the window, and because the other lady wants to have James Bond for herself. Blah blah blah. But yeah, anyway, that is the one that I was convinced you would have, because it was kind of obvious. That's what you get for not reading the chat rooms.
Exactly.
Just I have no defense.
Nope. Yeah. No excuses.
Nope.
And then if I really had to, I was going to throw It's a Wonderful Life in there, because it's cute.
Jump into a pool.
when they open the gym floor,
and
they're dancing,
and they fall in.
I cannot believe that you guys got Death Becomes Her out of me and True Lies and Constantine. Like, I felt like this was a lock for me this week. Plus my backup Truth or Dare, which is just funny and charming that I go for the pool table gag. And you guys stole them. You stole them. And you have all these great ideas. Why didn't you go for those? You're the losers here, not me. You're the losers.
Okay. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Pete's
really,
fake news show.
Really great.
Yeah. All right. So next week, we are going to be continuing our Steve Martin series with The Lonely Guy. This is the penultimate film in our series. What are we going to do here?
Steve?
I haven't seen Lonely Guy. I thought you said you guys talked about all of me.
That's after this.
So you said penultimate, isn't it? Oh, penultimate. Yeah, I forget my vocabulary words. I haven't seen The Lonely Guy.
It is, okay, so it's based on a book that's kind of a one of those, like a mock self-help book, that just tells you, if you're lonely in New York City, you should try this, blah, blah, blah. And it was adapted by, what's his name? Neil Simon. And then his adaptation was actually written into a script. So
weird.
Kind of an odd journey to
Arthur Hiller.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Arthur Hiller directs it.
It's hilarious.
Okay.
Charles Grodin is in it. He is a very depressed guy who loves buying plants and contemplates suicide quite a bit. I feel like there has to be something with cruise ships, Pete, because like this is like, climactic meetings on cruise ships. How about that?
Okay.
That is like an obvious Satmat thing.
Yep, that's a no-brainer for Satmat. It's why we exist.
I don't know if they have to be climactic, but they should be
important. Meetings on cruise ships of import. And what is a cruise ship? Can it be a yacht? A yacht?
I think it has to be a cruise ship.
It has to be a cruise ship.
Because, I feel like there are probably quite a bit of these.
What is this movie about? Because my IMDb keywords...
Is cruise ship not
he's
on
a
there?
guy, so he's
No. So
lonely.
the IMDb keywords are skank, whore, slut, slutty character, slutty wife.
What?
What?
Exactly.
Somebody was really bothered by the way that his first girlfriend treats him, I guess.
I guess so.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
No, he gets dumped early on in the film,
right.
And then he's kind of lonely and trying to figure out what to do, and is having a hard time meeting girls, and he meets this guy, Charles Grodin, who tells him about, the Lonely Guy store, and how this is how to be a lonely guy, and so he's working at trying to figure that out while looking for love, and he keeps kind of running into that seems like another thing we could do, movies where like the love interests keep bumping into each other or something, but it's like they take a long time to actually connect. I don't know if that's something.
Well, yeah, it's like that slow burn love story.
Okay.
Yeah, because every time they meet, she gives him her number, but inevitably it gets wet and he can't read it. Something like that happens, and so it's just they have to he has to wait until he can bump into her again to get another chance.
It's like that. I don't know. Is it the climax of the movie is them actually meeting? Like that's the objective of the movie is getting them together. Stories.
Oof, that's a tough one. Yeah, that's just a romantic comedy, really.
Yeah, right.
Or just kind of What about something with dogs? Funny dog
deaths
fetching.
No,
scenes.
this dog doesn't die.
It doesn't. This is the power dog.
That's a power dog. Yeah.
Funny dog fetching
All right,
scenes.
funny dog fetching.
I don't know. That seems really.
But
no, I feel like there's something where a dog, they throw a stick and the dog comes back.
It's just comic dogs.
With a
Best
bikini
comic
top
dogs.
or something.
What? I'm just looking at the cast. What about
best comic dog fetches?
It has to be a fetch.
Okay.
You're going to hold on to that?
Yeah, because I think that's the funny part.
Okay.
What about celebrities playing themselves? I don't know. I'm just looking at the cast. And I see Merv Griffin as Merv Griffin and Joyce
the
Brothers.
Fantastic scene with Dr. Joyce Brothers and the twins. That topped this film for me. That seems so funny.
It turned me around on
timed.
Joyce Brothers too. Andy had to go to the mat for that. He was in Joyce Brothers' court.
Okay.
How about Joyce Brothers movies?
We could. She's been in enough of them. Our favorite Joyce Brothers appearances.
Yeah, it's a list of 9 terrific Joyce Brothers appearances.
Oh, that's too funny. Oh, okay.
So does that mean there are 4 list choices this week? Funny dog fetches, Joyce Brothers movies.
I think just 3, and then meetings on cruise ships of import.
Oh, I thought you wanted to have the slow burn romance.
You done with that? Because then it's just like all of a sudden we're like, oh, that's just
all right. Good.
That's
that's fine.
Okay, so we've got meetings on cruise ships of import, best comic dog fetches, and Joyce Brothers appearances. Doctor,
I have to tell you, I have no idea where this is going to go.
I don't either.
All right.
There it is, everybody. If you want to get the vote in on this week, by probably next Thursday, get your vote over on our the Show Talk channel over in Discord. And if you want to learn how to get onto a Discord group, how do they do that, Pete?
Well, that's a great question, Andy. You know where you would start if you haven't done it already. You would start over at patreon.com/thenextreel. And there you can learn about joining the Next Reel community. You can learn about jumping on where you could see all the live streams of us actually recording these wackadoo shows. And let me assure you, they're much worse than what you hear in the podcast feed. So there's that. And you can just rest assured that you are supporting independent podcasting. When is there a better time to ensure that you are supporting independent podcasting than now, the holidays? You're already probably overspent. You know that. What's $5 extra? So you can also check out thenextreel.com/merch if you want to get into any of our new fangled logo merchandise over in our TeePublic store. We encourage you to do that too. Stuff is actually selling, and that is fun for us to see. So that's it. Anybody else have any other messages of note?
I don't think
so. It's podcasting. You have to say something.
Yeah, we got to tell them. Is it next weekend? Is the film board for last?
Oh yes,
or last Skywalker, the Phantom Skywalker returns.
Skywalker. Are you now? Are you on that one?
I'm not.
You're not on that one. It's me, and it's Andy, and it's JJ. Tommy is actually leaving the state, so he won't be able to.
And you've got a guest, though.
And
you've got a guest, right?
Have the fantastic
from the Nerdcast.
Jordan from the Nerdcast is joining us again, and we're actually going to be doing. I will tell you, we're going to be doing a little feed swap. They're doing some fun Star Wars stuff over on Nerd Critic. So if you've never caught Nerd Critic, you will be able to hear one of their shows in our feed, and our show will be in their feed. It's a feed thing. So look forward to a guest bit from them right here on the Next Reel.
There we are.
There you go.
Sweet. Thanks everybody.
Hondo.